Hello, greetings and welcome. In our today's class, we are going to continue with the English proficiency course, particularly the part of our lesson in phonemic awareness. So today we're going to be having lesson 2, and we are going to be focusing on the following areas. We're going to make a small revision of the CVC words which we did in our last class. Then we're going to look at syllables, which is the reason for today's class. We're going to also look at identifying syllables and types of syllables. Then we'll also look at how to blend syllables to form words. Then before we end, we're going to practice with different syllables and different types of syllables. So let's get started with today's lesson with I myself, Sir Godwill Yakum. Alright, let's go through a quick revision of the CVC words. The CVC words are 3-letter words, consonant, vowel, and consonant, which we did in our last class. So it is just going to be like a revision. I would advise you to read the words before I do. So when the words are displayed on the screen, try reading the word before I join you. So that explains why I will give some time before I read. The first word, pin, kid, log, jam, fan, pet, van, hen, mat, cat. So this is it. I hope you were able to read. If you were able to read it before I did and you read fluently and confidently, then that is a good try. It's a good start, a good beginning. Let's go into today's lesson proper, where we'll be looking at syllables. Now, let's begin by looking at what syllables are and then why syllables are important. Why should we actually look at this topic? Syllables are important because they help us to decode word before reading. When I say decode word, it helps us to break down word. When you look at a word, sometimes the word is complex for you to understand or to read it. For you to pronounce it, it's complex. What will you do? You break it into syllables, which are the smaller units of every word. You break it into small syllables. You are now able to read the syllables and then you join it together. When you blend it now, it gives you the word without so much stress and then with a lot of confidence. So to read long word, what will you need? You decode it, you break it down into syllables. Now, syllables also support correct spelling. When you want to spell a word, what will you do? When you understand the syllables that are present in that word, it is easy for you to spell, because spelling, you are going to spell the word step by step, and you will be confident of writing the correct answer. Syllables also help us to improve our pronunciation of the word, to pronounce the sound clearly and audibly, confidently. So for you to pronounce well, to master pronunciation, it is good to understand syllables. Well, syllabus also strengthens our listening and speaking skills. So if I am speaking to you, if I am talking to you, for you to actually understand me, I should be able to pronounce well. And to pronounce well, I need syllabus. I will not say things and then, for example, instead of saying stand, I have someone who does not pronounce S. He will say stand. So you say that you will not be able to easily understand him. Stand, come, begin. So if you do not pronounce the syllables well, you see that your speaking skill is drowned. Your listening skill will also be drowned. The speaking skill is the one that empowers listening. When you speak well, they listen and they easily get you. But there are some people, if you sit beside them and they speak English language, you keep on saying, I beg your pardon, I didn't get you. What did you say? Because they are speaking, they don't have what they call speaking skill. They are not able to pronounce well. They are not able, they may be educated, but they do not know how to pronounce well. And this is the basic. Now, it also helps you to build confidence in your reading development, to know that what you are reading is correct. Alright, so now after saying this, what then is a syllable? A syllable is one unit of a sound or one bit of sound. A syllable is that sound that you can pronounce in one pulse, in one breath. For example, if I want to call my name, I will say God will. You will notice that in the course of trying to pronounce God will, I will have a break. I will call God, I will stop before I call will. So this is what I mean by one bit of sound. I want to pronounce Bamenda. Ba. Menda. So I should be able to stop and breathe. So in one breath, you pronounce what? A syllable. Each syllable contains a vowel sound. And then I want you to know, when I was talking about vowel sound in our last class, I made a difference between the vowel letters and the vowel sound. The sound is what you hear. For example, sound ah, it is a sound. Sound eh. When you are reading, you hear elephant. When you are reading, for example, apple. So it's the sound there that, so this one, each syllable contains one sound. So it therefore means that to know the number of syllables in a word, you should be able to count the number of sounds that are present in that word. The number of sound that you will hear when they pronounce that word. Let's take an example. I want to pronounce this word. The word is what? Elephant. It has 3 syllables. I should be able to pronounce the syllables by syllables, one after another. Elephant. So this is why I say it has 3 syllables, because why? When you are pronouncing it, you will hear the sounds 3 times. That the first sound. Le, second. Fant, 3, the third. Now let's practice. We are going to practice reading. Look at the word that has been displayed on your screen right now and break it into syllables, and then tell us the number of syllables that are present in that word. So let's go ahead and break into syllables, and this is what we have. Go ahead and read this word on your own, aloud and confidently. So how are you going to pronounce it? You pronounce the first syllables first, and the first syllable is come. Come, right? It's a 3-letter word. Come, k, o, ko, k, o, m, come. So that's the first syllable. The second syllable is pu, pu, or in the context of this word, pew, pew. Then t. So how do you pronounce? You have come, you have pew, then you have t. So how do you pronounce it? Computer. The next word. So here we have what? 3 syllables. Let's look at the next word. So we're practicing again. We have, this is just a 1-syllable word, and is what we can easily read as cat. 1 syllable. Look at the next. Oh, good. So you break it into syllable. What do you have? Table. 2 syllable. Table. We'll still continue to practice. Now we have this word. Break it into syllable. You have elephant. So it has what? 3 syllables. Good. Then now you have, let's continue practicing. You have hippopotamus. As you can see that. So now how do you read this word? You can see it's quite long, right? So how do you do it? You break into syllables. You have the first syllable, which is hip, po, te, mas. Hip, po, te, mas. Let's count the syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 syllables in the word hippopotamus. Now let's look at how to blend syllables to form words. To form words, we can blend syllables together. We join syllables together. When we read it all together, it gives us a word. For example, I would want you to blend the syllables for the words below, as I will read the words slowly. Table. So how do you read it? Table. The next, elephant. How do you pronounce it? Elephant. Now the last, computer. Computer. So that's just it. We are still practicing. Now, this is going to be a practice exercise for you. In the following word, I want you to identify the number of syllables. Then you make a voice mail. And then you read the words aloud and confidently. So the first thing is identify. Break the words into syllables and write how many syllables are there in each word. For example, number 1, you write the number of syllables. Number 2. So when you are done with that, practice trying to read it. Try reading them, the words. Then now, when you think you have done well, pick up your phone and make a voice note, and then you read it aloud and confidently. So this is the first word. I will not read for you because you have to read at the end. So break it into syllables, read the syllables, read the word, then now you make a voice mail for me to know that you have read. Good. So that is it. Now, that's it for the practice exercise which you have to do today before the end of today's lesson. Now, I will want you to look at the charts which I want to present to you right now on your screen. It is a syllables chart. So if you look at it, you see cat is just a one syllable word. You can see that. Cat, one syllable. The first bar is cat, and just one syllable. Table, if you look on the vertical line, you see two syllables for table. Elephant, three syllables. Hippopotamus, 5 syllables. Now we will look at the types of syllables that exist, and here I will be telling you that there are 6 types of syllables. My interest here is just for you to know that there are types of syllables. So these syllables that we're talking about, there are 6 types. The first is an open syllable. So when a word ends with a vowel sound, that word is having an open syllable. That's all. For example, when a word ends with a vowel, that word has an open syllable. But when it ends with a consonant, that syllable is known as what? A closed syllable. So let's look at some example. Look at an example. Apple. Apple, it ends with a vowel. But if you look at cat, it ends with a consonant. So when it ends with a consonant, we have a closed syllable. When it ends with a vowel, we have an open syllable. For example, no. No. Now see, you now see that the syllable is open. But if I say bed, bed, rat, it's a closed syllable. Now you see that when you are reading, there are some letters that become silent. When you find that kind of letter when reading, you should understand that there is a silent syllable present. For example, if you want to read the word cake, normally you will read it as kake, right? Kake. But no, because the E is silent at the end, and this ake, is a sound that we pronounce as ache. So we now pronounce it as cake, bike, take. So in this kind of word, you will see that the air is silent. So we have the silent syllable. We have a vowel theme. When in a syllable we have 2 vowels that are being put together. So if we put 2 vowels together and they are read as a single sound, for example, when you put R and E together, it is being read as A. So it now forms a vowel theme. We are going to look at this in the days ahead. My interest here is just for you to know that there are 6 types of syllables. Now the R controlled syllable is that kind of syllable where the after this the vowel there is r. After the vowel there's r. For example, car. So you just see that you have to pull it, you have to drag it a bit. Car, bird. Now we call it the controlled or the R controlled syllable. Then the last is the consonant plus a syllable. So here is when your word ends with a consonant, then a at the end. For example, a word like table, jungle, apple. So you see that the sound is changing when you get to this kind of syllable. Alright, just for the sake of head knowledge, let's continue the next part of our today's lesson. Alright, let's look at the methods of identifying syllables. How do you identify syllable? Remember I said a syllable, each syllable contains one sound. So when you want to count the number of syllables in a word, you can use, let's talk of the first method, which is the clapping method. So you can clap anytime you pronounce a sound. For example, I want to pronounce the word watermelon. Anytime I pronounce a sound, I'll clap. Watermelon. So that is the clapping method. Antelope. Computer. Dignity. And so on. Now, the next is the chin drop method. Your chin, I hope you know what they call chin. Your chin is the lower part of your mouth down here. So for example, for men, that is where your beards grow if you are a man. But some women even have hairs on their chin. So using the chin method, anytime that your chin drop when you are trying to pronounce a word, your chin will be going up and down because you are opening your mouth and closing to read. So anytime your chin goes down, you count as one syllable. So I want to pronounce I'll pronounce Cameroon. So I want to pronounce Cameroon. My chin will go down 3 times. Roon. So I will count that as 3 syllables if I'm using the chin drop method. Now the next is the tapping method. You just tap anything around you. For example, I can be tapping my table or my book. I want to each time that a word is being a sound is being heard pronounced. For example, banana, I'll tap the table. Ba na ba men da computer and so on. So then now the last is what? The head nod method. So here, using the head nod method, what you do is that each time that you pronounce a sound, you nod your head. Not your head like if you wanted to say yes to something, you nod your head. So anytime you nod your head, you count 1 syllable, 2 syllable, 3 syllable, and so on. So if I want to read a word like banana, I will nod my head 3 times. Ba na. So that's it. That's the head nod method. Now we have I want us to look at some syllables. We'll start from 1 syllable word until we'll reach maybe around 5 syllables word for today. So let's go on. What are some 1 syllable word? When I present them on the screen, I want you to read after me. So once I read, you join. When I read, you repeat after me. So let's go. Cat, sun, chair, bread, tree, milk, cloud, school. So these are what? 1 syllable word. So you see that when I'm reading these words, I pronounce the sound just once. There's only 1 sound that you hear. Now let's go to 2 syllable words. All right, so here we are in two syllables word. Let's look at a word like window. 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 Two syllables. Table. Table. Tiger. Tiger. Sister. Sister. Candle. Candle. Happy. Happy. Brother. Brother. Yeah, now we'll look at three syllable words like animal. 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 Okay, good. Now the next, elephant. Elephant. Family. Family. Computer. Computer. Potato. Potato. Yeah, we'll go now to four syllable word. Four syllable word. All right, I've actually made an error. I've already put on your screen hippopotamus. It's having 5 syllables. So, but we'll just read it like that. Go ahead and let's read. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. 5 syllables. Elevator. 4 syllables. Elevator. Calculator. Calculator. Celebration. Celebration. All right, we are done with today's lesson. We have come to the end of the lesson, so now I am going to be giving you assignments. So I'm going to give you 3 assignments. Let's start with assignment 1. I would want you to identify the type of syllable in the following word. So it means identify if we have a closed syllable, an open syllable, a silent syllable, or whatever. Then you write it. For example, the first word, bed, car, apple, cake. Identify the type of syllables. Assignment 2 is spelling drill. So I will read the word. There are 10 words I will read, and I will want you to spell the words correctly. You now snap and you submit. The first word, computer. Watermelon. Watermelon. Dog. Dog. Kolofata. 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 Dignity. Dignity. Animal. Animal. Elephant. Elephant. Elevator. Elevator. celebration, celebration. And number 10, Madagascar, Madagascar. All right, so that is the end of the spelling drill, which is assignment 2, which you have to spell down and snap, then you submit. Assignment 3. I would want you to first of all split the following word into syllables. Then you read the words aloud. Then you now make a voice note to read it aloud and confidently. So first split it into syllable and write how many syllables. Then try to read it. When you are done with all, then pick up your phone with confidence, make a voicemail, and read the words correctly. I will not read the word for you since you have to read at the end, so that I will just present to you. You will be the one to read. Alright, so that's the end of assignment 3. I've added another one, America. I'll still add another one. Okay, I'll still add again. Alright, so that's the end now. Alright, so we have come to the end of our today's lesson. I would advise you to copy your notes, take the lesson till the end, and also revise the lesson before our next class. I would always prefer to present the lesson in a video form like this for 2 reasons. According to e-learning, video lessons have been proven to be the best way of teaching online. And even now in Cameroon, the Ministry of Secondary Education has implemented the using of digital board in schools because the modern classroom is more adaptable, preferable than the traditional classroom. So that is why I would always want to present the lesson like this, so that you can learn by visualizing. The second reason I would always like to present the lesson like this is for the lesson to be flexible, meaning that you have the lesson all the time with you and you can exhaust the lesson anytime you are free. So use your free period to return to class and exhaust the lesson. Even if it is not a day we have a class or the time we have a class, you can have a class with me because my lesson is already with you. You can take a revision class, listen to the lesson, watch the video again, and you will always understand something new anytime you go through the lesson the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and so on. So I would advise you to always return to previous lesson for revision. And anytime you have a challenge, immediately, even if we do not have a class on that day, you can drop it in my inbox. As soon as I am free, I will answer to it. So we will end our today's lesson here, and I will wish you understanding as you have gone through the lesson and even in our subsequent lessons. So bye.